Hey, I'm Elijah and welcome back. We are at day 3 of 30. That's right, day 3. That means we got 27 more days to go. Making good progress. It's going back really slow, but I tell you it's gonna be here before we know it. Anyways, instead of making a vlog today because I had school and I haven't figured out how I'm gonna do all that stuff yet, because it's kind of hard to record because that takes up half my day and I don't do anything. So I tell you what we're gonna do today. We're gonna tell you a funny story. So whenever, well, I guess when I was about 12, my Uncle Aaron had always had this Porsche, which was like one of his first cars, and it was like the same year as he was born. It was a 1984 Porsche 944, and so me and my grandpa, we like bought it from him for just a couple $1,000s, and for a long time it just sat, and then about 2014, I think it was, we kind of started working on it a little bit, and then 2015 is when we really started working on it. We redid like the whole entire interior and like was working on it to getting it ready for me whenever I turned 16. But where we were at whenever I turned 16 is we were just getting to the electrical, which was like all bad because there was just so much wrong with it. Like it seemed like somebody like had redone it, and like it was bad. So at the time of me turning 16, it was like springtime, and so it was just now starting to get hot outside, and like some days it would be cold and then some days it would be really hot, and with my Porsche, the windows were disconnected because we were working on the wiring, so I didn't have windows connected. And then my back hatch, because it was a hatchback, every time I'd hit a bump, it would just open up. And so I'd be driving through Springfield, you know, I'd be going down a busy street, and I'd hit a bump and that back hatch would open up, and then I'd have to pull off and get out and then shut it and then get back in and then go off again. And then it also had a problem of overheating because like the fans wouldn't kick on until it was like about to blow up. So just had a lot of problems, and I just kind of didn't want to deal with it at the time. I just like would rather have a car. You know, I just turned 16, so all I wanted to do was drive, and that was just such a hassle, and it was just annoying for me. So I just started looking around, and I like really started liking Mini Coopers. I don't know, I like small things. Like I just like prefer to be like more closed in and not have to worry about like having something like so big, just too much to handle, I guess. But I really like that Mini Cooper, and like I don't know, it looked really clean and everything to me, so I really liked it. So I started looking around up in Springfield. There was a few dealerships that had them, so a couple days of the week I would go to these dealerships and like kind of look at them, and I finally found one that I really liked. Good price, I like the colors and everything. At the time I didn't really know much about cars. I mean, I still don't really know a ton about cars, but I started like watching more videos about cars, and I've been helping my dad on their project. They're rebuilding like a truck, so I'm kind of like starting to learn more and more about them. But anyways, at this time I found this Mini Cooper that I liked, and so I went and looked at it. I looked at it like twice that week, and so my grandparents came up this one weekend. This was like a week after I turned 16, I think, or maybe 2 weeks. I don't know, it was not that long after. My grandparents came up to visit, and like I showed them this car. I went to the dealership, test drove it, all that fun stuff, and like we went back to my dad's house, and like my dad or my stepmom wasn't there, so it was just me and my grandparents. And so we were just hanging around, and like usually they left before it got dark, and it was starting to get dark. I was like, why haven't they left yet? I was like, why haven't you guys left yet? And it's like, well, we're just waiting for a little while, you know, we don't have anything else to do. And so I was like, oh, okay. So they hung around for a little while, and then they were like, can we go look at that car one more time before we go? And I was like, yeah. And oh, I guess like also they were saying how like they liked the car and everything, and that they'd come back up like next weekend with like money, and we'd be able to get it. So anyways, back to it, they're like, can we go look at this car one more time? And I was like, I mean, I guess sure, why? You know, I had no clue, wasn't even thinking at all about it. And we ended up going back to this dealership, and when we got there, my Uncle Aaron, who was the one that like showed me the Porsche and all that stuff. He's just like, he's always like kind of lived the closest, so we've always been like close to him. We get back to the dealership, and he's waiting there, and apparently he has the money and everything. So, and he was actually looking into getting a Mini Cooper not too long ago as well, because he gets a new car like every other month, like week or every month. I don't know, it's crazy, but I don't know, he just can't hold on to the same car. But so he test drives it, it like looks good and everything. So I ended up getting this Mini Cooper that day. So after they get the Mini Cooper, we go out to eat, and my grandparents leave, and I'm just so pumped. Like, got myself a new car. This car was sick, like it was nice. It was silver and black. It was a Mini Cooper base, 2000. What is it? I think it was 2007. I don't know. It was like a 2008 Mini Cooper base. It was really nice. I just felt so cool driving it, and so I went and stayed the night at my cousin's house. They live in Ozark, which was about a 15-minute drive from Springfield, so it wasn't that bad. And showed up to their house, and oh, it was just so cool. We all were just so pumped about it. And so I stayed the night there, and they live on top of the hill. You got to keep that in mind. They live on top of the hill. And so we wake up in the morning, we go to church. We come back from church, and we are gonna go play some frisbee down at this park. And so me and my cousin Carson, Carter, I think Carter was at work. Yeah, Carter was at work. So me and my cousin Carson, we run to his house real quick, and I was just in such a rush to go inside and change and get a frisbee and go down the park and play and driving my new car and everything, that I just decided to pull up my emergency brake and not put it in gear. And so I ran inside, got changed, and then I like came running back down to the door, and I look outside and I'm just like, ha ha ha, where's my car? And I thought that like he somehow like moved it, or like maybe I just like parked down a little bit farther, and I was like, oh, that's funny me. And I open the door and like look out, and I'm just like, where's my car? And then I see some people walking up this hill, and turns out my car had rolled down the hill and smashed into a truck. And I had that car less than 24 hours before it was gone, which was fun. And then for the next like 2 months, we were going back and forth with the insurance about, oh, it's totaled, no it's not, oh, it's totaled, no it's not. Apparently like some, I don't know, something with the engine and blah 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 blah. We ended up totaling it, so we got some money for the car, and then we ended up selling the car after we got it back. And then with the money that we got from selling it, plus the money like from the insurance and everything, this was like 2.5 months later. And like all through this time I've been looking online, trying to find another Mini Cooper that's nice and everything. And I had it down to 3 choices. There was one in Tulsa, and there was 2 in Osage Beach. There was a blue and white one, a black one, and another black one. And so I came down to Joplin to be with my grandparents for like a weekend, and we went down to Tulsa and looked at this black one, and it was nice. It had a few things like wrong with it and stuff like that, but I was like, man, I miss a car, like this will do good and everything. And they're just like, well, let's give it a couple weeks and then we'll go to the other place and check out those. So I go home, I come back down a couple weeks later, and when I came down the next time, we were planning on going and buying a car, whichever one, because they're all about the same price. So we had the money, and we were gonna go and buy a car that day. So I come back down, and on the way down, I was talking like, oh, we can go to Tulsa and then we can go to the other place, or we can go to the other place and then we go to Tulsa and see which one we like, and all that fun stuff. And on the way down, one of the cars that I was looking at, which was the blue and white one, it went off, like it got sold. And I was just like, oh my gosh, because I was like the one that like we had narrowed it down to, like that was like the best option, and it got sold. And so I was just like, oh my gosh, like it's already bad enough, could it get any worse? So we get down here, and my parents are like, okay, let's go out to eat real quick, and then whenever let's go out to eat real quick, and then we'll go and look and get a car. And so we go out to eat real quick, and they're like, oh hey, we forgot the money, let's go back home and get it. I'm just like, how did you forget the money? Are you seriously like that's the only thing you gotta worry about is the money, and you somehow forgot the money? Are you kidding me? So we ended up coming home, and whenever we got home, they opened up the garage door, and inside was this blue and white Mini Cooper, and like it didn't even dawn on me that like earlier we walked through the front door, like we never walked through the front door, like that's just weird. And oh man, and like they thought it was the most funniest thing they've ever done, tricking me by getting me a car where like they did the same thing the first time. So I was just like, oh my gosh, why do you guys do this stuff to me? Like you put me through all this stuff and then it's boom. Because they had just got back from California like the day before this, and apparently on their way home they'd stopped in this place and looked at it and decided that one was good because the other one wasn't as good as like it seemed in pictures. So they ended up getting this car and parking in the driveway or the garage, and I somehow still have that car even though my clutch in I was like 2 months ago, somebody smashed my window and broke into my car. So that's off getting fixed. Hopefully I'm getting it back like this weekend or next week, or who knows, probably it'll be like next year. I haven't had it for like a month now, it's crazy. But anyways guys, that was a story about my car situation and all that fun story stuff. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You can go ahead and leave a thumbs up if you want. You can go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, if you want to do that. And you can comment and say stuff if you want to do that. Anyways guys, I will see you tomorrow. Oh my gosh.